What's going on, everybody? This is Functional Gentlemen. We're your hosts, Roy Gravis, Bucky Pender, Producer's
He
Corner.
ended right when the applause went off. That was impressive.
Very nice.
Hulk Smash.
The good brother John
Yes.
is here.
buddy.
He's in the
Hey,
back.
guys.
He's in Producer's Corner.
Yay, yes.
So,
Yes, he's.
updates, weekly updates.
You know, we're starting inventory at work, so that's
Didn't you
never
just, I
fun.
feel like you just
We
did.
do it twice a year, one in
I was about to say, yeah.
I was like,
September.
I
It's like September and March.
felt deja vu.
So,
I felt like we had this discussion already.
It's prep time, so that's always fun.
Okay. What are you doing? What are you trying to tear up?
What are you you're tearing stuff up?
Okay, just checking.
What a terror
Just
upper.
checking. Just checking. My week's been okay. I mean, it's been
Yeah.
kind of slow. I'm waiting for it to kind of kick off back in the springtime, so where people will buy more energy drinks.
Please
but,
buy stuff.
yeah. So, other than that,
Yeah.
everybody's good. Fantastic.
Heck yeah, man.
Any
We're back on set. It's
Yes,
Gentleman's
we're
Friday.
back on set. Yes.
Back here trying to put something in my mouth.
Whoa. I asked him if we could turn the lights off while
We're
he
not
does
turning
it.
them down. You can't.
Let's play. I'm going to get everybody to play What's in Your Mouth.
It is virtually impossible to turn all the lights out in this room. You want me to tell you why? That cooler light never goes
That'll
off.
leave a romantic glow.
Trust me, that's how I can tell if the door's open. Because when I leave for work at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I walk to the edge of my truck and look, and if I see a little diamond,
Yeah.
we're good. If I don't see no diamond, I gotta go shut the door of the studio.
There you go.
But so we're gonna dive right into it. Smoke of the week this week for me is a Nub Nuance single roast by Olivo.
Okay.
It is a 3 on the Cigar International Roy Gravis scale, which is a medium. It has a Connecticut Sumatran wrapper with a Dominican binder and filler. And it's a piping hot cup
Piping hot. Okay.
of nub.
You were real close to saying
I know.
cock-a-doodle-doo.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I got one of those, so it's okay. I can say shit like that.
Oh, okay.
I got a yang and a yob and all that good stuff.
Hey, so you're using a fancy new tool.
I know. I'm gonna talk about.
Can
it
you
in just
kind
a
of
second.
explain a little bit
Yes,
what
I
you
can.
got?
So I have and it didn't do what I wanted it to. Give me a
Hey, so
second.
you're using a fancy. Whoa, that's
Whoa,
me.
what are you doing?
Me and my own ears. Nah.
So what am I doing, you ask?
See, senor.
Right now, I am punch cutting. If
And
it fucking works.
while you do that, can you kind of explain a punch cut?
So a punch cut's where you literally punch a hole right in the center of the cigar.
Okay.
Which I'll show you in a second. I had to pick it out because I already don't like the punch on this one.
Since this is a little bit of an educational episode continuation,
Always educational.
it's on fire.
Waller
It's
down
on
a little
fire.
bit.
The room's on fire.
Yep, room's on fire.
Well, hell.
Man, fucking tastic. Oh shit.
Do you have a regular cutter up here?
It's over there in the caddy
Is it?
in front
Here.
of John.
I told you.
So for those of you who can see this at home, we're froze up on the whatever that is, by the way, but it's okay.
Oh, it's
I
probably
don't know why Facebook always does that.
It's because I forget to press play.
That's because he forgets to press play.
Oh, that
So
makes sense.
if you can see the end of it, apparently we're on a little bit of a delay, but there's a hole in the end.
Okay.
Hole. Okay.
Hole.
Punch cut.
Whole
It's
lot
a,
of holes.
it's a combo dealie. So this is from Ventura Cigar Company. It is a double punch on this end that flips out. And then it's
So is that just two different
Uh-oh.
sizes?
two different sizes, yes. What?
Weak punch. Jay Allen's on tonight, so
Nobody gives
we
a
gonna
shit.
have a little bit of fun.
Nobody gives two shits in a fuck if Jay Allen's on.
Come here, Jay Allen. Come here.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, I got an episode for next week.
Oh,
Let me
gosh.
put your pinky in this big
Come here,
mamma
Jay.
jamma
See, again,
and cut it off.
He got real
Justin.
close to saying another word for cock-a-doodle-doo. That's twice on one episode. You've almost said cock and you've almost said penis.
Okay.
I'm keeping count.
For those of you with sophomore humor, yes.
Well, yeah, I got this thing backwards.
I know you do. I
I'm
thought
too
it was
busy-
funny.
He said people with strong punches care.
Well, I mean, I got 2 kids, so I feel my punch game is pretty strong. Just saying. Anyway, back to the business at hand. Since Jay Allen wants to come in and talk shit.
No comment.
This has a flip-top single lighter, but the trigger is right here. So,
That's cool.
yeah. So I'm gonna light. You can get another lighter. I think there's
Yeah,
multiple.
no, there's one right there.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on you. I like to get
Oh,
a
you like
nose
to
off
smell
of yours.
mine? Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of letting
Well,
you do your
first,
thing.
let me pull the little foot ring off.
Whoops.
What are you whoopsing about?
The double punch.
No, I let mine.
Oh, that's fine.
I never have had this one. It's good.
What do you have?
I'm smoking the Sweet Jane first.
Oh, okay. I have that in an upcoming episode.
He was so very graciously nice enough to give me his Fat Bottom Betty.
Ooh, I like the Fat
Yeah,
Bottom Betty
I like
too.
a Fat Bottom Betty.
By the way, within the next 2 weeks, we'll have covered all 4 of the yummy bitches that you can find.
Nice.
So, as Roy likes to say, how do you say it? Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, not gonna lie, no free heads.
Yeah, I always bum
That's
cigars
different.
off of Roy, and I didn't want to do that
Yeah.
anymore, so I bought my own. And Roy's been so kind to loan me cigars.
Yeah. Let's talk about how nice. Let's talk about how
John's
nice
officially
Roy is.
upgraded, and now he's buying his own
John's
sticks.
upgraded finally. Now I just got to get you your own humidor, and then we'll really be in business. Which I hear we may have a
So-
new addition to the table at some point. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's
What is
sweet.
it? It's
It's
so
sweet on the
sweet.
tip. I will say that it's got that Drew. It's
can
almost got
smell
that
the
Drew
sweetness.
Estate thing.
That's what I had this one. And I thought, is that what I'm smelling?
now-
But it's not.
What is the name of this cigar?
This is a Nub single roast.
Nub Single Roast. Okay.
So you're,
Sounds like
you're
coffee.
familiar with Nub because you had a Nub Cameroon
Right.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
So same company.
really liked it.
Yeah, I mean this one's good too. It's quote as supposedly Nub's answer to the Alec Bradley Magic Toast, which y'all all know my love affair with
Right.
Alec Bradley and the fact that Magic Toast, I've said on multiple episodes, is the only cigar that you can pair with a cup of coffee. I retract that statement because I feel this one actually pairs really
Oh.
good with it too.
There you go.
It's got a good sweetness on the nose from what I'm getting over here.
I may need to use that triple jet in a second. I'm not real impressed with this Ventura cigar thing. I mean, it's good in a pinch. It's good if you're doing a small cigar, but
Yeah.
for a big boy like what this is, I feel it's kind of lacking. We'll say it like that. But the single roast, so the way they did it because they used to be called Nub Cafes, okay? So I'm going to give you a little backstory behind this. They used to be called Nub Cafes, then Oliva turned around and bought Nub out, and then they changed it. So now you have what is called a single roast, triple roast, and a double roast. So the single roast is formerly Nub Cafe's cappuccino. That's why you get the sweetness off of it. So
Why does that name sound familiar? Oliva.
Oliva's a cigar manufacturer that's pretty.
Didn't you give me one of those one time?
I have given you an Oliva
Okay,
once
I
before.
thought so.
Yeah, but to go through the rest of the rundown,
Yeah.
so the double roast is a macchiato,
Okay.
and a triple roast is an espresso. So can you turn the
yes.
air purifier? Getting a little froggy up in this mother.
Absolutely.
Are you enjoying it?
I am.
Would it be a second purchase?
Oh yeah, it'd be a second purchase. The price point alone makes a second purchase. It's $5.99 a stick.
Oh, very nice.
So that alone would make it a second purchase.
For sure.
But I mean, it's good. I could see where they get the cappuccino, pairing it with a cup of coffee. I could see that. I could see Death Wish. I could see, and damn it, I forgot because I had presents for you guys too, and I
Oh,
forgot them.
man, I like presents.
No, you really like these because these aren't even out in the market yet.
Ooh.
Black
I like
Rifle
that.
Coffee has released their 2 new expressions, which are Vanilla Bomb and Salted Caramel.
Yummy.
So
Kaylee would probably really like that salted caramel.
I'll have to go pick them up tomorrow
Okay.
out of the truck and then run them by your house at some point and drop some in the studio for Juan.
One.
But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's a good one. Like I said, they've got 3 different variations. They used to be owned by their own company, and then Olivo bought them out. But it says right here, it's the ultimate coffee experience, 6 sizes and 3 flavors. So they have and they actually come in more than that. So they come in cigarillos, Coronas, Gordos, Petite Coronas, and short Robustos, which I have short Robusto. So it's good smoke.
Very nice.
Sweet.
I need that triple jet,
Yep.
which is fine.
Okay.
Oh, damn, that's hot. You singed the shit out of it. That thing's still warm. Get it. Yes, sir. But other than that, like I say, it's a good one. I like it. And you got the Fat Bottom Betty.
Yes. Super sweet.
That's the Drew Estate trademark.
Yeah. but always a good solid smoke.
Oh yeah, you
I
can't.
mean, Drew Estate makes.
You can't beat the
come on
dead.
now.
You can't beat the Deadwood series.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
care who you are. I mean, you can try, but you can't really do it for the
Good
most
luck.
part. Yeah, good. Really good luck.
So, as the title states, this is 102 Intro to Whiskey. So this is kind of our part 2. Just kind of a little bit of a continuation of last week. We'll talk about a couple things we didn't talk about.
Okay.
We can kind of recap on some of the things we did talk about because we did try to run through a lot in a short amount
We
of
can talk
time.
about some of this fancy shit we got on the table.
We got a bunch of fancy crap on the table.
Yep.
So I
Good
figured.
crap too.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't go wrong
I
with.
mean, we got
most
Henry
of these
McKenna. We got this Maker's Mark. What is this? Maker's Mark cash strength.
Yeah.
I like a good cash strength. And then we got something that neither one of us have had before, which is kind of getting more difficult for us to find stuff that we haven't had. But I found it. Lo and behold, I went through the realms of the archives that is Longhorn and Beaumont.
Yeah.
Shout out to
How was
those
that?
ladies. I love the ladies at Beaumont. They're legit. Like I was walking through, they tried to get me to get a pickle whiskey. I told them no.
That's not.
Yeah, we don't. I said we don't do flavors on the show.
No, I'm out on that
But
one.
we were talking difference. One of them suggested this.
I'm in.
I
I'm
kind of
excited.
thought it was interesting just because of the backstory behind it.
Right.
So, do we want to dive into this, or do
Yeah.
we want to dive into the whole?
It don't matter to me.
Dive into the whole. You should have sound clipped that. And
Yeah.
you were slipping.
Oh, I will.
You didn't sound clip
Yeah.
shit.
That's a post-show thing, sir.
I will.
Okay. Well,
So-
not only that, I live my life on the 3 B's as I've come to know it, which
Oh, yeah?
this may go on a shirt: burgers, bacon, and bourbon. The 3 B's.
That sounds like a great meal.
It really does, which is kind of what I'm running on right now. So, but I
Well-
mean, yeah. So back to, let's see here if I can find.
So if
some
you want to
info.
dive into Legion,
I do. I think
so
Legion's going
this
to be
is
interesting.
this is a Jim Beam product. I do
Yes.
know that. It is
Beam Centauri.
well a Jim Beam product, but Jim Beam is owned by Beam Centauri.
Yes.
So this is actually a collaboration.
Sounds like breakfast.
Right. Shit, if you're having burgers, bacon, and bourbon for breakfast, then you got a whole nother issue. You stayed up too late.
I'm not. First of all, I'm not a fan of the double punch, but Justin Allen, if he keeps on talking shit, he's gonna get a donkey punch.
Whoa.
Get.
So this is a collaboration between Beam Distilling and the Suntory Distilling side.
Yes.
So Fred No, the master distiller for Jim Beam, has partnered with. I don't know that's a cute little tiny knife.
It's a new one. I'm bringing back the segment actually.
The master blender for Suntory. So their Japanese side and their American side get together, and what they do is the whiskey is made by Fred No.
Yes.
And then it gets sent to, or he comes in, whichever way it goes, because he is the, master blender. He knows all about the finishing and all that
Yes.
stuff. So he then takes it, blends it, and finishes it in sherry casks and
Red wine.
red wine.
Yes.
Okay. See, I
do
know
know
a
that
little
much.
bit about it,
I
but
do
I
know
don't
that
know a
much.
whole lot about it. But I
Trying
think
to
it's
find
kind of
out.
cool that they took both sides of the business, brought them together, and let both guys do exactly what they do best.
Right. I'm trying to pull up their mash bill actually right now.
So I expect a lot of
there was like
wine
3
dryness
different
on
mash
this.
bills, but this is the one that I found that's the most. Okay, here it is. So anyway, so the mash bill on this little gem right here is a 67% corn, 12% rye, and 10% malted barley.
Okay.
It's the most consistent one that I found. There was some that had it 74,
It's probably pretty.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of Beam's main mash bill. 'Cause they have a couple different ones.
So according to the research that I did on it, it's supposed to be Beam's #1 mash bill. Supposedly what it is. Like I said, do we know that? No, we do not. We did not partake in the making of this fine product.
No.
But we know how much it costs.
So, what's the proof on this bad boy? Because,
So
like I
this
said, I did not
bad-
do any research on this one.
This bad Mama Jamma is 47% AVB for people
Okay.
at home that do math. It's a 94 proof.
I like math.
So it's a little higher than the average, because the minimum is 80. We've discussed that in last week's episode. Minimum's 80. But like I said, we're going to do the pretty one. I like it.
Very nice. A fairly large head on the cork.
It's a fake ass cork too.
Excuse me.
I'm shocked.
This is my shocked face.
You're Glenn.
Pour me another, sir.
Pour me another, good brother.
Speaking of which,
Oh God.
nice transition there. This is officially the last weekend for Poor Brothers Brewery.
Yes.
Shout out to those guys.
Unfortunately, yes.
We had the pleasure of doing a live from there, and they were great.
Yep. In our infancy, yes, we did a live from there.
I hope nothing but the best for those guys.
Yeah, wherever they go, whether
I don't know what's next in their little journey.
I don't either.
Sad to see them go, but I think they knew it had come down to that time.
Oh, it's interesting.
So if you do have an opportunity, I don't know how late they're open tonight, but whether it's tonight or tomorrow, try to get out there. I'm sure they're going to be selling the beer on the cheap.
From what I hear, I know starting Monday they started at 25% off everything.
Oh, really?
And it's supposedly going down as the days get closer.
Yeah. So I don't know what.
I'm
sure you'll get some pretty good deals if you like their beer. Just one last hoorah, get out there if you can. Enjoy some beer, and I'm sure they're going to have a live entertainment and all that stuff. So
I would be able to take it, but I'm playing Mr. Mom this week, so I've been playing Mr. Mom since Wednesday night. Well, I've had a little help, so.
So this is going to sound really dumb.
No, I don't think it is, because I think I know where you're trekking.
No, I don't think you do. Butterfinger, the candy bar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting. Like peanut brittle, a little bit of maybe a chocolatiness, some vanilla notes-ish.
I get the vanilla. I get where you're trekking on the vanilla, the chocolate. I do not get Butterfinger at all. Especially so wait a minute. So we're talking, because my wife and I had this discussion the other day. Are we talking Nestle Butterfinger or the new Ferrero Rocher Butterfinger?
I didn't know that was a new thing, so I guess the old one.
Yeah. They sold out about 2 years ago, actually.
Okay. Ooh, that's really good.
I like it on the nose because it's not abrasive. It's almost.
So
It's almost, you get, I hate to say this, but you almost get more wine on the nose than what you do the actual whiskey.
No. Drink it. It's very dry. Red wine dry.
Okay.
But it's good. Like some kind of dark cherry, fruity candy.
I was going to say, looking at the glasses from over here, it's a very, very reddish, dark coloration.
Well, you wasn't kidding. That actually is good.
It's like a dark, fruity candy, red wine dryness.
Like maybe
Like
dried cherries.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And even, so like just then licking my lips, there was a super sweetness there.
I get that.
This is really good.
Like I said, it was on a wing and a prayer when I walked in Longhorn, because I literally got a text from my dude that said, "Hey, get something off the wall." And I thought by off the wall at first he meant just grab something off the wall.
Just grab something off the wall.
I had to use my context clues and realize, no, he wants something completely different for this episode.
And I think it would be really good for this episode because, kind of like we talked about a little bit with the rosé cask finish, this is a completely different finish.
Yes.
And this is a collaboration because, in the whiskey industry, there's quite a few different major companies.
Oh,
and Beam Suntory is one of those.
Yes.
Obviously you're going to get the Jim Beam.
You got Beam Suntory, you got Campari, you've got Sazerac now. It's big, one of the big boys, quote unquote.
Yes. I don't know if you shared it, but what was the price point on that?
The SRP is $39.99, and that's exactly what I paid for it.
Okay, cool.
So
pretty
good,
decent
good
bottle
price
for a
point.
good price.
It's a good
bottle for a good price.
Yeah.
It's a really, so for me, it would be a really fun and good price point intro to finished whiskey.
I think so too. I think that's kind of the consensus with it. I mean, it's better than what I anticipated.
It's super sweet. It's super easy. It's very approachable.
The burn, there's not a whole lot of burn to it. For a 94.
There's really no burn there, but it's got a decent finish as far as it lingers just long enough, so it makes it super approachable.
Yeah.
Trying to see if there's anything else there.
Yeah, I don't know neither. I have no idea. But I mean, it's interesting. I will say that it's interesting.
I think
the coloration's good.
I think the higher corn mash bill adds a different sweet, like a different layer of sweetness there. Because I almost expected the dark fruitiness from like the wine finish.
I get a hint of chocolate and burnt leather BMW seats.
All right, Chad.
I did that just because I know
All right,
somebody's
Chad.
watching.
I really thought you were being serious for a second,
No.
and then I was like, nope, never mind.
Nope.
That's really good. Easy sipper.
I think so. I mean, like I said, I like the concept behind it. I like the backstory behind it.
Yeah.
Because even like their quote unquote marketing that they put on the label, it literally says 2 true legends, 1 truly unique bourbon.
And they are. I mean, and I wish I could remember that guy's name.
Hang on a second, it's on the
hold
bottle.
on. I've got my iPad right here.
Hang on. Shinji Fukuo?
That one. Yeah, Shinji fuck you-o.
Something like that, yeah. That's literally kind of what it looks like.
So Fredno and Shinji, that guy.
Yeah.
Good job on this one.
It's pretty good. I like it.
So for me, it doesn't give any Jim Beam. Like
No,
maybe
which
a
is
hint
odd
of
because it
Jim
literally
Beam,
says
but-
produced and bottled by James B. Beam
Right.
Distiller in Claremont,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah, exactly.
So, are you trying to figure out how to pronounce it?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm in. I like this.
It's not bad. And like I said, you can find it a little cheaper. Like you can go on, I think, Drizzly and get it for $35.99.
Yeah. But I think you're right. You're just
Market
about
View
right.
Liquor's got it at $38.99. I paid
I want to say
$39.99 for it.
the
so-
SRP. It may be a little cheaper than $39.99, but $39.99 is going to be probably about your average price.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like I said,
Man, that's fun. I like that.
no, I'm glad. I was nervous. Of course, I get nervous anytime I pick because of
So I'm curious.
somebody's very, very unique palate. So I always get nervous when I pick a whiskey, especially
It
with.
definitely leans into my fruitier palate.
It
though.
does. It does, and I know that's because it's the red wine and the sherry on top of each
Yeah.
other because it's finished in both.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
Whoa. Come on. Why is this no fun? I was hoping they would have tasting notes on here.
I think I did have some from somebody.
Well, I was just kind of hoping it would be. Oh, I'm burpy.
Burpee, not to be confused with a. Let's see what distiller.com.
Come on.
About it. Fukuyo. That's how you pronounce
Yeah,
it, by the
Fukuyo?
way. Fukuyo. Fukuyo.
Shinji Fukuyo.
Yeah,
Fuck you-o.
Yeah, Shinji. Put that on. Shinji
Right.
Fukuyo.
920.
The outcome. Okay, that's not it. But
All
anyway,
right.
like
So
I said, here we
let's
go.
do this real quick, if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
So we've already given our nose and palate and finish and blah, blah, blah. So according to James B. Beam, beamdistilling.com, color, warm, sun glow golden hues with reddish brown undertones. Agreed?
I would agree with that, yeah.
Aroma, balance of mature cooperage notes with layers of spice. So they're saying oak and spices.
Okay.
Finish, notes of dried fruits and spice from red wine and sherry cask across the palate in waves.
I think I can sum up your synopsis a little bit because I went to Bourbon Banner and come up
I
with
said dried cherries.
Oh, yeah.
and come up with their
Roy!
stuff. I know I'm knocking shit all over
There's
the
a
place.
towel underneath the thingy that
Yes.
we've used to clean up the floor.
Like a party foul.
Party foul.
I know, right?
2 shots.
So on the nose, according to Bourbon Banner,
Okay.
candied stone fruit,
Uh-huh.
coca, grape, and oak.
Okay.
I'm trying not to set the place on fire.
Please don't.
It's on fire.
I got a little bit on the Blanton's box too.
Ooh.
I know.
Oh, no.
Oh no. That means we gotta drink it. Oh no. No, we can't.
They took her jibs.
Can't drink chicken. But on the taste, caramel, honey, baking spice, powdered sugar,
They took our
and
jibs.
cola. On the taste.
I could make
Okay.
flat.
Well,
Flat.
Coke kind of has that You know, yeah. I see where he's going with that.
So do you want some of this, by the way?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because I was fixing to say it.
Actually, yes, I do.
Okay. Get you a Glen.
I've got this one you gave me.
Okay. That's fine.
Save. Okay. Anyways, where were we?
So I was on the finish, actually. It says medium, invigorating, long-lasting, and comfortably warm.
Wow.
Okay.
Now,
What do you think?
This is from...
So smell straight up. He aced Coke. To me, I get the dried cherries, I get the Coca-Cola, and here's the thing: maybe it's because I'm sitting over here drinking a Coke.
Could be.
It's possible.
We talk about the power of suggestion all the time. And the reason I kind of said a little bit about Coke is because, unfortunately, on my way home, I had a Miami Cola Bang on the way home. So
Very nice.
Oh my God, that's it. That's what
Miami Cola?
Miami
Flat
Cola.
Coke?
Yeah, flat Coke.
So,
I like it, though. It's good.
So we kind of ended last week talking a little bit about the secondary market and the people that have hit us up on like Instagram trying to sell crap.
I get it, and I love those people, but at the same time, please stop.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go secondary market and buy just stuff. To me, if I can't afford it at regular price, I'm definitely not going to pay a higher markup.
So, and kind of I want to talk a little bit about the price point thing.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
Real quick,
yeah.
I got something different.
Okay.
Peaches.
Well, I mean, that would go with the stone
Peaches.
fruit kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
But I was thinking more like dark.
yeah, you and I were
Peaches are
trying
interesting.
trekking on the same line. Plum, black cherry.
Yeah, darker,
type stuff.
Black cherry. Yeah.
darker,
Okay. Yeah.
fruity candy type thing.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
Okay. Secondary market.
Yeah, so let's move past secondary market because I don't want to give it any
No,
more
it doesn't
advertising
need
than we
any
already
more
have.
love. Yeah.
So something I kind of wanted to talk about was like I guess shelf snobs is a way to put it.
Yeah, that's a good. We kind of touched on that a little bit last week because I've been known as a bottom shelf hound, more or less.
And I think if you go back and you listen, as I've evolved, I've started using price point as opposed to bottom shelf,
that's
mid shelf.
yeah.
I use the word price point because I feel like most people can live in a price point, and it's more, call it what it is, politically correct when it comes to what we're choosing as far as whiskey. Because let's face it, there's a lot on the bottom shelf that's great.
Oh, I saw something.
Old Granddad Bonded, Evan Williams Bottled and Bond.
Let me tell you what I saw in the wild that amazed me because I've only seen it one other time in the wild. Mellocorn.
Mellocorn's another. It's a great introduction to a 100% corn whiskey.
Yes.
But in the same breath, I want to say and I'm just going to use you and me as an example. Your top shelf may be different than my top shelf. You may be able to go out and buy on the regular a $80 to $100 bottle. So your top shelf is like the $100 range.
Right.
My top shelf, maybe I can only afford $50 to $60 bottles. So my top shelf is going to be that $50 to $60 range. And if I splurge, then I feel really cool buying an $80 to $100 bottle. Heaven forbid I am disappointed by that bottle because then I've wasted the money that I worked hard for.
I get that.
But I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. Are you always, is top shelf, middle shelf, bottom shelf always just going to be the lingo that's used, or can we push more into price point?
We could probably, I feel price points are probably a safer terminology because, when you hear, especially like your old timers talk about bottom shelf, you always think that rot gut.
R&R.
Yes. R&R, McCormick's.
Which is my top shelf.
Hell yeah.
I'm kidding. But you've got something, like you said.
I like the way you drink.
Like you said very, very poetically, your mid shelf is kind of in that range anyway. But I've noticed like liquor stores here lately are doing a little trend set because I've actually walked into a couple of different ones other than Longhorn.
Have you?
Yes.
Surprise.
I walked in one today, actually. I've never stepped foot in before in my life, and their whiskey selection was horrible. I'm not even going to name them.
Okay.
Nothing like that. But they had some interesting stuff, like their Buffalo Trace was the cheapest I've found.
Really?
Yes. It was like $28.99, I think.
Okay.
Right around in there. Because I know Buffalo Trace normally is like a 32, 35, somewhere in that range.
I try to tell people, and it's always my go-to introductory, especially in our area because we can find it.
Right.
I tell people try not to spend more than $30 on it.
Yeah.
But you should typically find it in that, like you said, $28.99. You should.
Yeah.
Now you're going to find it for $35 plus.
Yeah.
In some of these stores that are doing things that they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, and I almost hate to use this term, but I mean, like I've noticed too, more of the quote unquote chain stores.
Yeah.
That have more than one location, you're going to find it at that price point. The mom and pops, you're going to find it a little higher. And I get that because everybody's in the business to make money.
But, and kind of to expand on what you were saying, because you said you walked into a couple different liquor stores and you've noticed things on shelves. Something I noticed, and especially at Longhorn, I like the way they do it. It's not just top shelf stuff on the upper.
No, they mix.
You can find, like, stuff on the mid shelf that maybe at some stores is considered quote unquote bottom shelf, and then on the top shelf even you're gonna find some of the things that you're like, it's only $38, why is it on the top shelf? And I like the way they do that because like I said, I still prefer to shop based off of price point, not what shelf is it on.
Well, I noticed Longhorn does it a lot off of categories.
Yeah.
I mean, they really do. If you go through and like examine their shelves and stuff, they really do, because like all their Texas whiskey is normally on
that end, right? And if you mentioned the one in Dallin, going to get this one, if you ever look down their whiskey aisle, that very first section is all rye whiskey.
Yes.
And then you kind of go into everything else, Texas whiskey,
yes.
and then bourbons and whatnot. But I like the fact that they mix their shelves up. You're going to find $38 bottles on the top shelf, $50 bottles in the mid section.
Miller's and Beaumont has all their inventory on the bottom shelf.
Yeah, exactly. They have like I walked into Miller's one day, they had like 2 boxes of Buffalo Trace just sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff, and I was like looking behind boxes because there was some good stuff on the very bottom shelf hidden behind a case of something.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an interesting.
I want to say something from the outside looking in for you two guys. So Miller's does look like Ross.
That's
when you
exactly
go in.
what it is. But they have a good selection.
I like Ross though, personally.
And
like
shout
Ross.
out Miller's because they've been doing it for like 50 years.
Yeah.
It's a mom and pop shop. They do have a good selection if you ever get a chance to go in.
And one thing about Miller's is when you talk to the old man, he is so.
His wife was super sweet.
He is so smart when it comes to whiskey. Like if you ask him,
really?
Hey, this is what I want, he will direct you to exactly what you're looking for. So I have watched you guys for 2 years now, almost.
God, I hope
Almost. All right.
Like the bottles you pick.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've noticed that probably 80% of the bottles that you pick that you claim that are really good whiskeys are under $50.
Yeah, I mean that's
and that's why I'm agreeing with you that price point doesn't really. I mean, to me, and you always find those easy ones that are under 30 that you're like, hey, this is actually good, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean we've done it before with old Granddad 114.
Old Granddad 114.
But then you have your select like that are over $50, and you're like, okay, like the Jameson 18 year, stuff like that. It's bound to be good because of the amount you're paying for.
Well, yeah, Jameson was kind of the quote unquote one off, and I'd had it multiple times before, and I'm like, you know what, I had it, I enjoyed it.
But it's fun to do those one-offs.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the one-offs.
I will tell you this.
Have a one-off coming next week that we're just going to tease at that. It's a one-off. It's something we've never done before on this set.
I have had, and I'm going to tell you this, I have had bottles of scotch given to me. I've never bought them.
Right.
And they're over $80. And it was the most god-awful scotch I've ever drank in my life.
But I mean, like we said too, and I've noticed this, and this kind of to me is a quote-unquote gateway. Because I know at some point the Japanese whiskey game is going to come to this set. Now, I feel it's coming.
So here, and just a little caveat and a little drop some knowledge on everybody. If you don't know, I want to wait a little bit because this year, actually, it's going to go into effect that Japanese whiskey is going to finally be regulated.
Okay.
Because as of right now,
it's not.
It's
not.
The
Wild West.
It's the Wild West. And basically what Japanese whiskey companies are doing is sourcing from Scotland, Scotch companies.
Yes.
Bringing it in, doing whatever they do, and selling it as Japanese whiskey.
That's a very true statement. Bad stuff does come at all
Absolutely
price
right.
points.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, and we'll get back to that. But like I said, so Japanese whiskey will finally be regulated, and there will finally be some guidelines to what it is, not just Scotch rebarreled or rebottled as a Japanese whiskey. So that I'd like to wait until that kind of fully
we can do that.
goes into, because I'd like to see what a true Japanese whiskey with some guidelines looks like.
Well, I mean, there's also a couple of other countries too. I know you and I have talked about Abasolo before. That's on our radar. There was another one I can't remember.
Abasolo, Adictivo from Mexico.
Yeah, Adictivo.
A couple different Japanese whiskey like Nika, Nika straight from the barrel, Nika coffee grain. There's a bunch. Eventually we can, dive a little more maybe into the Irish whiskey game.
Yeah.
Never the Scotch game because Scotch sucks. But
We're going Scotch.
whoa,
Sorry,
we
wrong
got.
button.
That's not funny. I'm gonna make a shirt. Scotch sucks.
Don't put that on our website.
You can't stop me.
No, that's true. I can't. Unfortunately, I'm at the mercy of him when it comes to what he puts on the website.
No, I like to give y'all a hard time about it.
I think it's the other way around. We like to give you
That's what it is. So
hard
every
time.
now and then I gotta poke a stick.
Yeah.
Don't pout, you little pouty pants.
I know, God.
Pity, party of one. Pity, party of one.
That's funny.
So, anyways, like Ryan said, shout out Ryan. Thank you again for everything and watching. Price point is a good term, and because there's bad stuff at every price point. It's not. I would love for the entire whiskey community to get away from bottom shelf, top shelf. It's price point. I'm looking at this price point. This is where I would like to be.
I just say it the simple fact of, if it intrigues you, get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that twice already. I mean, let's be honest. Western Suns
Yeah.
intrigued me. Midnight Moon intrigued me because I know both those companies historically are vodka companies.
Right.
I know that's what they do.
So I saw something kind of cool, and y'all talked about it last week, especially with the whole tater thing with Terry Bradshaw's whiskey.
Yeah.
I
Bradshaw.
actually saw it in Beaumont.
So he was on that show with Kelly Clarkson on it, and they had his whiskey, right? And so his whiskey comes in at 51.9.
Yep.
All right. 51.9 was actually his pass completion rate.
Yes.
For his career.
That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've
so-
also got
So
other
I
like
go
if
ahead.
you've noticed on the neck, there's a banner that's got a bunch of Roman numerals.
Yeah.
And we touched on this last week. That's every Super Bowl that he won.
Yeah.
The numbers of it.
But I like when they're so kind of expanding on that. I like when there's a backstory to your proof or whatever it is. Like the proof thing is always fun to figure out why did you like
How did you come up with that particular
like-
proof?
like Pursuit.
Yeah.
They chose 108. Why?
Yeah.
Why is everything bottled at 108?
Right.
It's just but it's fun to figure out why they do that. And like Bradshaw 51.9, that was his career completion percentage.
Yep.
That's a pretty cool little backstory. And it's not some bullshit my great-great-grandfather took 51
Yeah.
horses across the Mississippi twice on a Monday.
Well, the sad thing about it, and you can look this up too. You know how Terry Bradshaw actually got famous, quote unquote, don't you?
The football.
Well, yeah, but oddly enough, so Terry Bradshaw went to Louisiana Tech, which is in Ruston, right?
Yes.
Right.
He was not the best quarterback at
No, he was
Louisiana
not.
Tech. A gentleman by the name of Phil Robertson
Oh,
was the best quarterback at Louisiana Tech. The only
Okay.
reason Phil Robinson did not go pro is because, and are you ready for this? Because he actually said this in an interview. Pro football season interfered with duck season.
Yeah.
That's why he did not go pro.
really?
Yes.
What was funny about that interview is he made a joke. He said, imagine if Tom Brady or Drew Brees made a whiskey, everybody would be just drunk because they got like 70% completion rate.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
gonna clean
and
out a
that
little
would
bit.
be, to me, I'm not a big tater guy,
Why?
but that would be a reason that
Right.
I would buy his whiskey.
Right. I would be a tater for Bradshaw
Yeah.
whiskey because of something like
Right.
that.
It's meaningful.
Or Peyton Manning is a part of Sweeten's Cove. If they came out and said we chose, 108 proof because he threw 108
Right.
touchdowns in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a backstory as to why with that goes back to what that athlete is about or what we know him for.
Right.
Then that's fun because we all know it. I'm a huge sports fan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you give me any kind of nugget as to what that has to do with that guy, I'm probably going to jump on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been afraid to admit that I'm a tater. When we all know that.
No,
Yeah.
we know. We're working on something right now that's going to be the quote unquote tater in you. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put it on here. So.
No, you'll go.
Oh, you want me to?
Are you going to expand?
I can expand. So we are in, I guess we can say, negotiations
Okay.
with JT Mellick
Yes.
to do a live
Yes.
from JT Mellick. In
Nothing set in stone. Don't.
No,
Let's not jump ahead.
Let's not jump ahead. We're
But-
in the early talks of trying to figure out
Yes.
dates and stuff like that. But it
But
is
JT Mellick made Fred Minnick's top 100 this year.
actually came in at 95.
95.
Is where they came in. At.
If I'm not mistaken, they won like double gold or something.
Double gold at San Francisco, and they were also named one of the top 10 innovative whiskeys of 2022 by Whiskey.
And that might be a whole
Whiskey
nother
Mag or something
like
something
that.
along those lines.
But that might be a whole nother discussion because what they're doing is completely different than what everybody else is doing.
Oh,
they're
they're-
making rice whiskey.
Yes.
So it's a completely different grain than corn,
Yes.
barley, rye, wheat.
I was trying to pull my.
Yeah, baby.
They're from Louisiana.
See.
Yes, they are actually. So it's
It makes sense. They're
It,
making.
Well,
rice
no,
right.
whiskey.
it's-
That's what I
So
told
it's-
Roy. It really touches my coon ass heartstrings
Yeah.
for them to be doing rice.
So the quote unquote whiskey nerd in me, okay, when I started the process, or when we started the process rather, of emailing different whiskey companies, we talked, hey, do we want to reach out to JT Mellick? And it's like, well, yeah, they're Louisiana, we're Texas, let's do it. I didn't realize until I started this thing, as far as the email back and forth that Bucky and I started. Do you actually know where JT Mellick is? So JT Mellick is in a town called Branch, Louisiana.
Okay.
If you look up Branch, Louisiana, it is literally in between Rain and Church Point.
which again,
Which is-
people aren't going to know where that's at either.
No, they're not. But I mean, like, it's a pretty simple drive. I mean, let's be honest. But I was trying to find some of their accolades on here because I have the email pulled up, but it's wanting to be. Where is it? Come on.
So, and just kind of while you do that, I was
Yeah.
just kind of thinking, we talked about price point. If you do go above your normal price point or you sit on a higher end, or you're trying to sit on the higher end of that price point, just because you spend a little more on that bottle, I think I said it a bunch of times last week, don't be afraid to open the bottle. Don't let it sit on your shelf just because it's a top shelf.
So it was the 2022 Sleeper Whiskey of the Year by Whiskey Fellow, is what it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
It's north of
northeast-
Crowley, but
or
it's south of Church Point.
northwest of Lafayette.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So not too bad. Like I said,
Yeah.
we're in the early discussions of that. I think it's going to be interesting because it'll be our quote unquote first trip outside of the state of Texas.
Right.
So that's always
And-
exciting.
And Ryan makes a good point. What I was kind of going back to about the backstory, or give me some kind of gimmick with an athlete.
Yeah.
yeah. A good backstory is really good.
Right.
I like to learn about the history. I'm sure Ryan will agree with me. The history of it, the backstory of it, it's great. I think that's things that people like us enjoy because we do want to learn about it. But if he's right, if the juice is garbage, then I'm not going back.
No, I agree with that statement 100%.
And that kind of goes, like I said, if you're willing to spend a little more on a bottle, don't be afraid to crack it open. Just because it's a top shelf doesn't mean it has to sit on your shelf unopened.
Right. No, for
We
sure.
say it all the time. We buy these bottles to enjoy them,
We do.
and I think that's a big misunderstanding
I agree.
in this.
Jeremy, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I've that one's kind of. It's kind of hit or miss for me. I mean, I know where it's at. It's outside Iowa.
Full disclosure,
So-
I went on a Bayou rum kick for a little while.
I know.
Even after we started doing the whole whiskey thing, I went on a little bit of a Bayou rum kick.
You did.
I won't drink rum unless it's Bayou rum.
It's
cool.
they make good stuff,
They make good stuff. Yeah, and they're super
but and
close.
So for me, whenever I think Louisiana, I immediately think rum, just because of all the sugar cane.
Well, not just that. It's all the quote unquote pirate lore. You got Jean Lafitte and all that
it's
kind of
it's all of
business,
that,
so-
but they're big in sugar cane.
Yes.
I mean, it's what you think of whenever, at least for me, I think of Louisiana. I've always thought rum. And then, of course, Ryan brought us, what was the one he brought back from Louisiana that we did? Sugarfield.
Yes.
JT Mellett came out a couple years ago and started their whole thing.
JT Mellett came out a little over a year ago,
Yeah,
I think.
it hadn't been very long. I know that. So I mean, that's really fun and that's really cool that everything is so
Great
close
bottle
to
of
home.
Four Roses aged from...
JT Mellett or Bayou Rum?
Yeah, I'm confused.
Just let's clarify real quick.
Clarification.
So
But yeah, I mean, that's
that would be
kinda-
an interesting. I'm curious because if it was aged at Bayou Rum, nice.
It was aged at Bayou.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool.
So I again, and kind of go back to the backstory thing. I'd love a little backstory on that, Jeremy. If I know it's a little bit to type, but if you can kind of give us, because I guess my question is, how did Four Roses end up in a Bayou Rum barrel? I guess.
Yeah, that is a very interesting question.
Um,
How do you get something from... Because Four Roses is out of Louisville, right?
Right.
Okay.
So,
How
I
do you get
mean,
something from Kentucky to
So
Louisiana?
and Four Roses is a national brand.
Yes.
That's one of those. That's one, we talked about it. It's one of those big things. It's
Yep.
one of the big guys.
It's one of the big guys.
So that's and Bayou Rum, and they're big, but I mean, it's still, you think for at least for us, it's Louisiana. It's no big. It's a hop, skip, jumping away.
Opposite way. Okay, so it went from...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Interesting. Really interesting. May need to
Bayou
talk about that one.
aged in four... Okay.
Okay.
So Bayou Rum was aged in four... Okay.
Okay, so that makes more sense because they can get the barrels, X barrels from Four Roses a lot
Gotcha.
easier than
Yes.
Four Roses would. Right. That makes sense. Pretty cool. Still cool.
Yep. I like it. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I see you got the Ohio State of whiskeys on the table.
The Ohio State of
That's what I refer to Blanton's as. The Ohio State of whiskeys.
Always
So-
getting there, never getting.
Oh. So this is for all of Tater Nation.
Tater Nation.
I made a joke. Oh, it's wet.
I know. I told you.
You
it's
ruined my box.
It's just a box. Are you keeping
Tater
the box?
Nation is gonna attack.
That's fine.
You see it? BTAC graduate.
They can-
all of BTAC Nation and Tater, all the Tater
I
fans.
told you
are
I
coming
spilled
for
on
you.
the box. And I
The
said I was
fighting
sorry when I
taters.
did
Fine
it.
taters.
You know what happens to taters? They get turned into tater salad. That's what
So
happens.
I made it whenever I posted our original tease of this episode, and I asked everybody kind of for their what do you want. Somebody talked about being
Blanton's.
Blanton's. Don't believe the hype. Don't wait in line. So
Yeah.
I made the joke. Well, now I got to have a bottle of Blanton's on the table. Duh. So here it is.
Okay. It's in the bag. So
it's
it's
Fresh
in
in the
a bag.
box.
Yeah.
I'd never opened the box before today.
I think air dried. It's fine.
Very, very crown.
Which
royalish.
letter's on the horse, by the
Very
way?
Crown Royalish.
They really do. Which letter's on
I
the
got an
horse?
N.
Okay.
N64. N64.
God.
So, if everybody, I think everybody knows what Blanton's is. This is the bottle. It comes with a horsey on top. It's got a letter.
His came with a Longhorn sticker on it.
Mine's
Surprise,
Longhorn Liquor,
surprise.
Single Barrel Select. If everybody knows me, knows what I'm doing. So this is this bourbon whiskey dumped on 7/20/22 from barrel number 169, stored
So-
in warehouse H.
So I'm curious. Jeremy's doing store picks with Hocus Pocus. Jeremy, you got to message the show at some point. We got to pick your brain a little bit on
J Dog.
that kind of stuff. Cannonball
Cannonball
bottle.
bottle.
Yep.
That's it.
Cannonball.
So this was stored in warehouse H on Rick number 34, individually selected, filtered, and bottled by hand at 93 proof.
Okay. So it's one proof less than Legion.
But it's but it's Blanton's. But it's Blanton's.
I still think Blanton's.
I got the Blanton's.
I'll stick by what I said.
It's unopened Blanton's.
I think
It's got a
Blanton's is
horsey
the
on it.
Ohio State of whiskey.
It's got a horse on it.
I think we need to
Hey,
find somebody that makes
You want to
whiskey.
talk about advertising and introing?
Yeah.
If you put a horse on your bottle, people are going to buy it. And
Ooh.
it don't matter if it's on the lid or the bottle or wherever. Put a horse on it.
I like Jeremy.
State law.
Wait a minute. Are you gonna open that?
Oh,
I was gonna do something.
Okay,
Okay.
go. Whatever
Go
you're
for
gonna
it.
do. We'll ad lib like we normally do.
yeah.
Jesus, we're all over the damn place, but it's fine. So Blanton's. Yes. Continue.
This is just kind of one of those. So, and we joke about it. I joke about it myself.
So where I don't get nothing else on it.
This is when people say Tater Nation. This is a lot of what they're talking about.
Oh,
this
yeah.
bottle right here.
So
Because you wait in line.
But you and I talked about it. So
It's hard to find.
I feel it got kind of really like Blanton's has always been around, but I don't think it's been as much hyped as what it has going back to. And John's gonna have to look the date up on this. When did the first John Wick movie come out?
Ooh. 2012.
Because a lot of the hype behind Blanton's, 2014
2014.
Okay.
was when the first one came out.
2014. I was close.
So you're roughly almost 10 years removed from the first John Wick.
Right.
This is what John Wick was drinking in the lounge of the Continental. And I feel that along with.
So you think John Wick is the reason?
I really do.
This
That's
is
my conspiracy for the night.
This is the allocated bottle that it is.
Keanu Reeves himself is what made
Y'all
this.
gonna make my wife get all mad because you gonna make me stand up and dance.
No, we're not. Neither. Nobody wants to see that.
This just turned into the Gentleman After Dark.
Oh God!
All right, go ahead and open it.
Come on with it. Hit it. That had zero pop.
I was fixing to say, yeah.
All right.
That was weird. Can I try again?
Like I said, the
Nothing.
Ohio State of whiskey.
Nothing.
Oh,
There's a reason.
put it back in the box.
There's a reason
Send it
why
back.
I call it
I
the
don't want
Ohio
it.
State of whiskey.
Would you like a pour?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm just gonna piss a whole bunch of people
I'll
off.
get into the hype.
John, have you ever had Blanton's?
No.
Oh,
Would you like to
want
try
Blanton's?
some?
Sure.
This is what we buy it for.
Yes. We don't buy it to sit on a shelf. Thank you. Fantastic.
You're welcome. This is what it's all about. The camaraderie, the sharing of the bottles, actually opening it, having fun with it, playing My Pony.
So I'm curious, producer man, when you bring in a bottle? He's like, oh, I got to do that?
Whenever Bucky starts drinking scotch.
I love that.
Not today.
When Bucky starts drinking scotch.
That's the devil's drink.
Now I'll
Bottle chug, bottle
go
chug.
look at some. I'll break some.
Surprise us.
Yes, we like
Yeah.
surprises.
All right, so
Okay, that's that. That still smells good, by the way. Even
Yeah,
letting
it does.
air out.
I'm curious of everybody's thoughts. It's Blanton's. We've done it once before on the show.
We did.
We did it with DJ,
yep.
part of our super fan series. And I think we need to change the name of that because we started. It's more. Let's admit it. They're friends of the show, not fans of the show. We have friends.
I like it. I mean, am I gonna like?
Right? Exactly. That's why I had to do a bottle chug. So
I mean, to me, I hate
whiskey.
to. I hate to say
It's
it, but
bourbon.
It's bourbon.
it's bourbon.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean-
Nailed it on that. It's,
So if
this
I
is
were,
bourbon.
if I were to say I want you to try the most bourbony bourbon
This is
in
what
the
you
bourbon
would tell
world,
somebody.
I might say, here, let me pour you a little glass of Blanton's.
Lighter cutter. What do you want?
Oh. You want the V cutter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hit something.
No, you're not. I got it.
I get
Nice
it.
catch.
Yeah.
Coming at you in 3D here in about.
I just
3,
don't know
2,
what to
1.
make of it. I just.
I'll tell you what. They're very confident in
tell
their
you what.
advertising. You read this shit.
No.
We believe this is the finest bottle of whiskey
Finest.
ever produced.
Ever produced.
It's bourbon. It's just.
So those of y'all
Affording
following
you
along,
extra flavor.
I'd love to know y'all's thoughts on Blanton's.
I can't.
Because we know you've had it. Don't lie to us.
Apparently, I can't read.
You don't know how to read. Words are hard.
Can I be completely honest with you? And this is my opinion.
Why not?
And forgive me all because I am not like these two gentlemen. I am not a connoisseur of bourbon.
Screw them
but
taters. Just say what you're gonna say.
I would mix it with something.
So, I know, well,
He literally, I would mix it with something.
But I would never drink it straight.
you know, I thought this was going to be fun, and I thought we were going to have a good time. And I thought I wasn't going to get offended by any tater jokes. Suddenly, I'm offended.
You're always offended.
So it's funny because Justin.
The bottle makes a great soap dispenser.
Yeah, right? Hurry up and finish it so I have a soap dispenser. I might put some mouthwash in it. I don't know. So
I'm using it as mouthwash right now. I mean,
I'm washing my mouth out with this.
the first time I heard about Justin drinking Blanton's, yeah, man, I mixed it with Dr. Pepper. Oh, my God. You did what? What?
I mixed it with Dr.
You want to hurt a mother trucker?
Oh, geez. That's funny. That is super funny. I mixed it with Dr. Pepper.
And I like to think I'm a tater that's understanding.
This is why Justin will always be on that side of the screen, not this side of the screen. Mixing Blanton's with Dr.
It's
Pepper.
funny. His youngest daughter, love her to death. She's fucking amazing.
I hear good things.
Even she came in the other day and she was like, "When are you coming to my daddy's Tiger Den so y'all can do your show?"
Oh, good Lord.
I was like, "Oh gosh."
Makes a nice lamp. Yes.
Come
Yes,
on, guys.
I can see where it would make a nice lamp.
Lamp.
put some
I
of those
love
little
lamp.
LED
Hey,
lights in it.
Jeremy, I love lamp.
Lamp. Or
I love
limp?
lamp. Anchorman. I love lamp.
Oh, okay. I love lamp. I like scotch.
Oh no.
Scotch.
Scotchy.
God, you got any more notes over there?
Yeah, I got a few.
Okay.
So
Hit
I
your
mentioned it.
notes.
So I kind of mentioned it, and this is something that I think a lot of people need to understand because, me coming from the vodka world, yeah, it was weird. You had to pull it apart, and it kind of broke the wax seal. See?
It even tells you to pull it.
Yeah, it broke. Well, yeah, because taters aren't smart. We never claimed to be the smartest people.
You said that. I did not.
So I came from the vodka world. Like I said, I got on a little bit of a rum kick. Something that I think a lot of people need to understand in the whiskey world. Yes! 60% of the time, it works every time. Comment of the night, put it on the board. Yes!
That's awesome. Blanton's is the Sex Panther of bourbon.
Honey, I'm coming home with Blanton's.
Oh, my God. Jesus
Damn it. Where was I? Oh, so something I think a lot of people, because I didn't even understand it until we really started diving into this.
I had notes, but you
Throw it away.
I had notes.
The camaraderie, the friendships you're going to make, the people that you can just sit and talk to and talk about things like this, and you meet out at whiskey drops and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big part of
Speaking
what
of,
people...
is Mike right in the comments? I didn't know when they're doing another drop.
Right?
I feel like Blanton's is that type of drink that you you bring to your old lady's house, and she's like, "Oh my God, you know about good whiskey," and you're like, "You damn right I do."
Damn right, baby. Don't you know what this bottle is?
Damn right. Shit.
I'll be your stallion.
God, dog.
And I think that's a big part of it because meeting, and we were friends long before this.
Yeah.
But the fact that this has grown so much and the way we can go back and forth, and John has kind of slowly been a little bit of a part of it.
Yeah.
You don't drink every show, but you like to try it and you like to give your opinion. Ryan became a big part of everything we've done. And then going out to these whiskey drops with Ryan and meeting Brandon and just Craig and all of these, all of these people that I get to talk to on a regular basis. I even ran it. I think I said it on the show I talked about the last whiskey drop. I ran into a guy I went to high school with, and we started talking like we had never gotten out of high school. I mean, we picked right back up. It's things like that you meet these people and you don't realize that all of a sudden this becomes like a real thing, and it's guys just sitting around talking. You become friends, and something I would highly recommend is don't be afraid to pour whatever is your top shelf, because that person will turn around and do it even better.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I brought Ryan a couple bottles that may or may not be great, like a Wyoming whiskey. I brought it last time we went. It was a single barrel select from Longhorn, go figure. But it was something he hadn't tried yet, which was a surprise for me.
It's always a surprise when you even with the Mike Wright episode.
But it's stuff like that. He never hesitated whenever I said, "Hey, I see you have Balmoral on your shelf. Can I try it?" Well, yeah, pour you a little glass. I don't care. it will come back twofold. If you share what you have, I promise you, the people that you meet in this little community will do it twice as good.
Oh yeah, that's probably a very understatement.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just a simple fact that, like, and we've talked about it before. Everybody's taste is so different. Right. So what I like is going to be different from what you like. It's going to be different from what John likes. Prime example: John just said he mixes Blanton with Coke. And,
are we really trying to piss me off?
And yet
tonight,
we're
I will.
He's still here.
We've talked about Scotch. We've talked about mixing Blantons with Coke. I'm gonna throw my stuff down.
You made a reference to a shirt that says "Scotch sucks." You're getting exactly what's coming to you.
Yes,
exactly, Jeremy. I've said it to Roy anytime he's come over to the house. Anything you want to pour, pour it.
That's vice
I'm not
versa.
afraid. I had a coworker tonight say, "Hey, can you send me a picture of your whiskey shelf just because I want to see?" Because we were talking about whiskey before. He called me and he was like, "Hey, what was that Four Roses? Blah blah blah." We talked for a little while, and he was like, "Can you send me a picture of your whiskey shelf? I want to show people what you got." And they've even joked about, we're just going to show up one day and drink everything that you have. And I'm like, okay.
It'll give me space to buy more.
Right, I got to make some room. I'm running out. But it's not about I want to keep it on my shelf. I want everybody to enjoy it. I want all of us to have a good time with it. If I think I have a bottle that whoever doesn't have, I'm more than willing to let you pour it.
Yeah.
I popped open, I mean, we talked about it. I popped open my E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, which is a pretty hard bottle to find. Mm-hmm. It's not a high, again, and we go back to the price point thing. It's not a high price point.
No.
It's just hard to find.
Yes.
But I wasn't afraid to pop that open and hey, it's after midnight, let's do this.
Yeah.
And we tried it that night. I don't want them to sit on my shelf.
No, to me, that kind of, I've never been a fan of quote unquote collecting.
Right.
And I know a lot of people say, well, I'm a bourbon collector. Are you a bourbon collector or are you a bourbon drinker? Because I feel there's a difference.
I want to be a bourbon drinker.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean,
the bottle, as pretty as some of them are, I mean, it's cool. Let's admit it, this is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It's a completely different bottle.
Oh, yeah, it's totally different from everything else.
It's fun, but at the end of the day, what is the juice like inside?
Right.
Because I can, if I wanted to, I can display the bottles. I have some cool looking bottles.
That's one of the things that, I asked you before the show. Is it meant to be pretty or is it meant to be drank? And you said it's meant to be drank.
It's meant to be drank.
Well, yeah. I mean, we don't call this the collecting gentleman. We call it the functional gentleman. We want to be able to.
The whiskey's got to be functional. I mean, I want to drink it. I want to enjoy it. I want to find what weird things I can. And
now, don't get me wrong. Is this?
You're not going to believe this, but that was Butterfinger.
Is this Maker's Mark cash strength that's in front of us unopened? Is it gorgeous to have on a shelf unopened? Yes. Is it serving a purpose? Fuck no.
No. It's serving zero purpose the way it is. And that's why I put it in the box last week. That's why I brought it on the show, because I want to enjoy it with good people. And let's all hope, because this will be the first time I've had the cask strength. And we all know, as much as I love what Maker's Mark does and represents, I don't really enjoy their regular one, but I do enjoy most of their other expressions.
Yeah, their baseline is, I feel there's better baselines out there than Maker's Mark.
But I enjoy a lot of their other expressions.
I hate to say that because we both met Tina with Maker's Mark at Whiskey Fest, and she was ridiculously awesome. Amazing. And I mean, I hate to say it like that, but that's
right.
I feel that at least with my palate, I like more of the small batch, that type stuff.
And I'll be the first to admit, and I tell everybody this. Whenever we first started this whole journey, I dove in head first. I immediately became
head first. Ash, you fucking cannonballed into it, bro. There wasn't no head first.
But I immediately became a Maker's Mark ambassador. Mm-hmm. Like, I signed up. I was like, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Yeah. But I'll be the first to tell everybody, look, I'm not a huge fan of their original expression.
Right.
But you have to get past that.
True. I mean, I get that too.
I completely agree with that. But a wall, yes. But a wall full of bottles that's unopened is dumb. Why?
That's tater-tastic.
But, like, let's say I found a bottle that was, a bottle from a barrel that was bottled on the day or the year that we started our show.
Or even better than that. Say there was one that was bottled the exact same date you got married.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Sitting onto it for your 10-year, your 15-year, your 20-year, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
There's people that I know that have quote-unquote retirement bottles.
Right.
That for the day they retire, they're like, hey, I'm going to pop this top on this
And
mother.
there's ones like the Blantons, like I read on the bottle. They tell you when it was barreled.
Yes.
Where it's from, blah, 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 blah. So let's just say I opened that box for the first time and it said March 13th, 2020, 2021.
2021, yeah.
Was our first official show, I think. Somewhere around that area.
Yes.
If it had said that, I'd have been like, we're not opening it tonight.
No, I agree. I mean,
just because that would mark a special occasion.
Right.
So let's say, okay, if we make it to our 5-year anniversary,
yes,
we'll pop this bottle.
Makes sense.
That's a special occasion bottle, kind of like what Ryan is talking about.
No, yeah.
And that's really, I mean, that's kind of cool. Or if you find one that was bottled on Braden's birthday, and you're like, I'm saving this one till it's 20
for the day he turns 21. Yeah. No, don't give me. Yeah, I get it.
I'm okay with that, but don't let them sit on your shelf for no reason.
No,
because it's a Blanton's or because it's a whatever.
At the end of the day, it's all whiskey. Now, at the end of the day.
So
let's be honest.
Elaborate on that a little bit. So I posted last week, I think, Breaking Bourbon put out a story about the bourbon that is. Oh, cool! I did not realize that, Jeremy. May have to find out. So something like what I posted last week. There's a bottle of bourbon that's coming out that is going to be aged in space. It's $75,000 for a bottle. I know we don't have that kind of money, but if I were to buy that bottle,
I'd fucking slap you in the face with a tortilla.
Do I immediately open it?
I'd fucking slap you in the face with a tortilla.
Hell no.
Why?
Do I bring it on the show on a Friday?
Answer me that question. Why?
I'm not. Because price point.
No, I just want to know the gimmick behind why.
Aged
why
in space. 1 year. It will be aged in a barrel in space for 1 year.
Space Force.
Or, okay, so let's knock it down a few notches. Michter's is coming out with their celebration whiskey, which is a big ordeal. It's usually a few $1,000s for a bottle. It's a blend of their bourbon and their rye.
Okay.
It's it's anywhere from 18-year to 30-year, I think is what they say. Okay. So it's a few $1,000s, let's say.
Why?
Is that a bottle you keep on your shelf, or is that a bottle?
That's a bottle that, because of price point, I don't even buy.
Can I ask a question? The one that's aged in space, is the name of it Galaxy?
No.
I think it's like Mystic.
God.
That don't even make sense.
I don't even like it.
The whole concept's stupid, okay? The whole concept to me is just dumb.
Somebody was going to do it.
I know, but I mean,
somebody was going to do it.
So what happens if it comes back from space and it tastes like ass?
I just thought
$75,000.
I just thought
Stupid.
I thought that was the whole purpose of the Space Force, is to bring liquor bottles into space.
Hell yeah.
I wished, but no.
So we've kind of talked a little bit about different kinds of whiskey and different aging and whatnots. So I kind of wanted to do something that I can explain a couple different things.
Okay.
Since we are still kind of doing the intro to whiskey thing. So I've got a bottle of Henry McKenna sitting here. So a couple things. And it goes along with the Blantons. It's a single barrel. So that means this bottle was made from a single barrel.
Okay.
It is a single barrel pick, or not a pick, I'm sorry. It's just made from a single barrel. But what's different about this one is it's also bottled in bond.
Okay.
So bottled in bond has to be aged a minimum of 4 years in a government guarded warehouse. It has to be bottled at 100 proof. So that's what makes bottled in bond different than anything else. It gives you a designation and a legal entity saying, yes, this is American whiskey or bourbon or whatever that is coming in at exactly 100 proof. You know what you're getting in the bottle because they can't add anything to it. That's it. It's guarded. This is it. Now, you want to kind of go back a little bit. Let's back up. I said it was single barrel. Every one of this bottle is going to taste slightly different.
Well, yeah.
I may have a really, really, really good bottle, and I'm like, man, y'all got to buy Henry McKenna, the single barrel bottled in bond. It's great. What's going to end up happening is you might go out and buy a bottle, John, and you're like, dude, this is crap.
Yeah.
And that's because they're so different because it's a single barrel coming into that whole equation. Like Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, Ryan has one from 2019, I think. I tried it at his house before I tried this one because I wanted to know what the differences were. Because I'd heard so many different things. Some people hate it, some people love it, but that's because of the idea of a single barrel.
Right.
So I tried his, and then I tried mine, and it was completely different. So that's kind of a short, quick splurt of this is what a single barrel and bottled in bond is.
Okay. I get it. He said his bottle's wonderful, by the way.
Yes, no, and it is.
Then what's your synopsis on your bottle?
I enjoyed his more than mine. But I do enjoy mine.
Okay.
I've had a couple drinks out of it, as you can see.
My bottle sucks.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeremy.
My bottle sucks.
See? But that's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
If let's say I would like, Jeremy, come over tomorrow, bring your Henry McKenna, let's do a side-by-side comparison. He could do that, and they will be completely different pours because of the whole single barrel idea and what goes behind it.
Right.
His is going to taste completely different than mine. And I may look at him and say, well, I kind of like yours. And he may look at mine and be like, well, yours sucks too.
Or he may look at you and be like, he likes his more than yours. And you
Right.
May, you
And
guys
yours
may do
sucks
a bottle.
even worse.
You may do a bottle swap.
You have an arrangement, sir.
Yes, and we will. I'll bring mine, you bring yours out, Ryan, and we'll do a side-by-side comparison. And that's what's really fun about this.
So I guess we're not killing that one.
No, we can't kill that one.
Not killing that one.
But then that's another, and that goes into back to what I was saying.
And we're not
about
killing this one.
Have y'all
Please don't.
ever killed a bottle on set?
We killed
Yeah.
one with Mike.
We killed an old
Oh, did
Dusty,
y'all?
Yeah.
an old Dusty with Mike Rebel from like 1980.
Yeah.
It was like 81, 82, something like that. I think it was as old as I was.
I like bottle kills with Mike. That's fun, especially when they can be old.
I
and
just
dusty.
like Mike. Like
Right? We just like Mike.
wellspring of
I want to be
information.
like Mike.
He likes Mike, but he doesn't like sitting here for 3 damn hours.
I mean,
Oh, shit.
I do stuff too,
Look.
sir.
I know.
We took our first ever commercial break
I know.
with Mike.
I know. Jesus. I know.
But on that note, I'm going to take a potty break.
Good Lord.
It happens,
I
bro.
know. It happens.
Full
So
disclosure,
figure out
and they know this. It's not that I don't like drinking whiskey. It's that I work at 3 a.m. So
I feel you, dude. The only catch is I don't work
On Saturdays?
weekends. Yeah. The only catch is I don't work weekends.
but that might be changing.
Oh, is that breaking news?
That yeah. We'll get the breaking news later.
We got.
I might be able to. I might be able to try more whiskeys and stuff. So, y'all keep me in your thoughts. Hopefully
like
that
it.
happens. But yeah, my biggest thing, he was talking about it is just this is kind of a time to get away and like learn about stuff. Like when he brought up bottled and bond.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John knows about that because last year you did an episode about bottled and bond.
We did early
and I was like,
times,
hey,
yeah.
when he started talking about it, I was like, yeah, I know what that means.
Right.
Like, and that's the education part behind it, and that's what gets me is all of the education that y'all have taught me that I would not previously have known.
Education, schmeducation.
But I mean, that's a big part of, I hope we can add that to every episode that we do. And when we do things like this, people are like, yeah, you know what? You're right. You talked about that once before, and
Yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So next time they walk into Specs or Longhorns or whatever, and they're like, hey, I heard about this bottled and bond thing. It's like guarded for 4 years. It's supposed to be exactly 100 proof.
Yeah.
Can I try one of those? What do you recommend?
Early times.
And it
That's
would
still a
be
good pop.
That
it
was
would be
better
cool
than
and funny if like if the person that's giving you the bottle is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What the hell are you talking about?
You know something that the people
Right.
working there. Hey, give me a job. Like,
You better pay me enough, but give me a job.
How do you know all this? Well, I watch The Functional Gentleman.
Yeah.
That's how I know about it.
But it's just
Wow.
it's the differences, the fun, because I can take 2 bottles that were made exactly the same way, 51% corn, 25% rye, 16% malted barley, whatever it is. I don't even know if that equals 100%, but
I'm not checking your math on that one.
they put them in 2 different barrels, put them in 2 different warehouses from 2 different companies, and they taste exactly the same. Or way different. Sorry, I did not mean exactly the same. They taste completely different. How? Why? What goes into it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things going into it. There's what was one done in March and the other one done in November? Was it
if you've ever
a different Rick? Was it one in Rick 3 versus Rick 7? I mean,
and Aaron, if you follow Smoke Wagon on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, Aaron, their owner, master blender, blah blah blah.
yeah.
He likes to say that. Look, this one is a winter whiskey. It was done in the winter. I'm now tasting it in the winter. It's got a ton of spice, this, that, and the other. You can tell this is a winter whiskey.
Yeah, I get that.
So, I mean, but a lot more goes into it. As you dive deeper into this hobby, you find different char levels, different, oak, different whatever. Is it higher on the brick house? Is it lower? Is it in Texas, which you've mentioned before, ages faster than something in
Hell, you have some people that even have
Colorado.
theories that you get better whiskey on the east side of the Rick as opposed to the west
Right.
side of the Rick.
Who knows? Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not.
Yeah. I mean, granted, you probably get more heat exposure on the east side versus the west side, but
You think so?
well, yeah, because the sun rises in the east and sets in the
Right.
west.
So is it hotter when it's rising?
I would think because it's up longer. Because once you get to noon, it's on the back side.
Okay. I don't know. See?
Yeah, I mean,
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
It's like
But-
it's like Tony Rich project. Nobody knows but me.
So, since we're kind of just diving into a little bit of differences and whatnot, so something else I want to talk about, and I talked about it once before on the show we did with this bottle. Pursuit United is a non-distilling producer, so they don't distill anything. They make no whiskey. But what they're doing is they're going around to different distilleries and purchasing barrels. So Bardstown Bourbon Company is one of their big ones. They deal with Sagamore Spirit, which we've done on the show previously. And they deal with, dang it, I can't remember the distillery out of New York.
Widow Jane?
No. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember.
What's her name?
Pursuit United.
Pursuit Unit. Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's out of New York. Anyways, so what they do is they go around and they pick their own barrels and then they bring them back and they blend their stuff.
Pursuit's. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pursuit Spirits.
I'm pretty sure I think it says it on here. Or it's so their rye is from Sagamore. This one that I have, the bourbon, is go to Brands. Up
Brands?
top. Brands up top.
Oh, up top. Okay.
There you go.
Pursuit United.
Click it.
There we go. Bourbon. So their bourbon, right there, spec sheet. There's
Yep.
a link right there.
Where?
So their bourbon,
Finger Lakes in New York.
Finger Lakes
Finger
Distilling,
Lakes.
an undisclosed Tennessee whiskey, and a Bardstown.
Yeah.
So they're picking barrels from all of these places,
Right.
and they're bringing them in and saying, okay, dump this. I'm going to take X amount of this, X amount of this, X amount of this. They blend it, and then they put it in a bottle.
Yep.
And now they say, okay, we're going to do it at 108 proof. Okay.
Yep.
So they're blending from multiple states and selling that versus distilling their own or going straight out to MGP
Yeah.
and buying just barrels.
That's an interesting comment. I'm not familiar with that one. Ragged Branch. Ragged Branch compares their whiskey to the fruit or foods that are in season when the whiskey is bottled.
Okay, interesting.
Cool.
That is an interesting one.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not
familiar with that
100% familiar, like you're saying. I'm not familiar with Ragged Branch,
No.
so that's something I may dive into. Go ahead on with your bad self. But so this is something that's kind of cool.
brand.
In the fact that what they're doing is different than, say, as much as I love Penelope goes out and buys from MGP
Is
or
it sad
Rawson's
that
Cliff.
I think Baby Bell cheese?
No, not at all.
Just checking.
So they go out, buy bottles from MGP, and then figure it out from there.
Bitch.
Nope. Yeah, I know.
Fucking screw top.
Which doesn't make it a lesser whiskey.
No,
Does not make it a lesser
It
whiskey.
just makes a shitty sound effect.
Yeah, we can't do sound effects on the show.
No. That one.
So
We can do sound effects, just
Right.
not out of that bottle.
Right.
Just not out of this bottle.
so let's do a quick little on what we have on the table.
Okay.
Jim Beam
Yep.
distills their own mash bill,
Yep.
puts it in a barrel,
Yep.
puts it in a bottle.
Yep.
Blanton's, same thing. They mash bill, distill, bottle. Pursuit will go out and buy those barrels from those places,
Yep.
bring them back,
Yep.
and then eventually barrel them, but as a blended item.
Oh shit.
Penelope will buy MGP barrels that are already done. It's
Yes.
been distilled, it's been barreled. All right, now give it to me, and if I want to finish it in something like a
been-
VDN cask,
It's been hugged and kissed and tucked into bed.
I will do that, and then I'm going to bottle it and sell it as my own. But I'm going to, like Penelope, who is completely transparent, and I love the fact that they're completely transparent, says, hey, we bought it from MGP, but we're doing our own thing by buying these VDN barrels and barreling it, letting it age for 6, 12 months, whatever it is, and now we're going to sell it to you, and this is what it's going to do, or taste or feel or whatever.
Interesting.
Ryan wants to know what the finishing series is for that Maker's Mark.
That is just the cast strength.
Yep. There's no finishing.
So
Well, I'm sure there is. It's just not.
this is their cast strength offering, and kind of like I was explaining with a lot of these. So cast strength is the same as barrel proof. Barrel proof is the same as cast strength.
Okay.
Whatever it comes out of the barrel at, that is what they bottle it at. Now, foolproof, like Weller sells a foolproof. Foolproof is going to be what it comes out of the still at.
Yes.
So if it comes out at 108, they're going to bottle it at 108. Barrel proof and cast strength, as things sit in a barrel and as it dissipates and evaporates, which is called the angel share,
Clean your sinuses out.
it will get higher in proof. So a cast strength or barrel strength will be higher in proof than what it comes off the still at most of the time. Yeah, you see that? Yeah,
Bringing up corks.
exactly. You'll prefer a screw top.
I don't tend to break
So
corks.
there's differences in proofs, and that's another thing that we could dive into. But that's kind of the quick explanation. Cast strength, barrel strength, they're going to be the same thing. They're whatever it comes out of the barrel at. Foolproof is whatever it comes off the still at, and then anything less than that is distilled down with water, usually from the area that it comes from.
Okay. So this one is from Star Hill Farms. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Maker's Mark is a wheated bourbon, so it's a little higher in wheat on the mash bill than, or they use wheat in their mash bill than somebody like Blanton's who uses rye.
Yeah, I mean, I get the wheat. It's almost very British.
British.
Yeah, I'm making words as I go.
Not to be confused with British.
British.
Yeah, not to be confused with British.
We don't talk about them because they shut your feed down.
Apparently, we've had that happen. Really? So, Jeremy, I would be curious, and this would be a good thing for people that are getting into bourbon.
The coffee
Well,
filter.
and right. Okay, so great. That's a great explanation. So for a let's say intro to whiskey, a beginner, I pull the cork out of this one. It's been sitting on my shelf for a year, and I just hadn't opened it. Hadn't gotten back around to it. I go to open it, and my cork breaks off. And 50% of this falls into the bottle. Now what? Like Jeremy just said, which I'm glad he went ahead and followed up, let's not waste it. It's still good. Break out the coffee filter.
So do you run it through just run it through the coffee pot, put it in there? And
No. Just a coffee filter in a bowl or cup or whatever. Run it through there. Get the cork pieces out. Mason jar and a coffee filter solves a lot of problems.
Okay.
So grab
Put
whatever
the coffee
you got
filter on top and
pour it through. It'll catch the sediment from the cork, and then just rebottle it.
Oh, okay, cool. Maybe,
So it's okay to have a little cork in your diet.
maybe if you have a extra
Now-
decanter around, you can
Right.
throw
You,
it in that,
you
or-
can even throw it in your fancy new Southeast Texas Whiskey Fest decanter. Thank you to Longhorn Liquor and Mike, right? Shameless plug, no free ads, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I mean, it's stuff like that. Now, there is something that's called uncut, unfiltered.
Smoke wagon.
Smoke wagon,
Good stuff. by
Blue
the way.
Note.
I like.
You'll see it on the
So
bottle.
wait a minute. The regular Blue Note, is that the one that's uncut, or is that the juke joint that's uncut?
So regular Blue Note is going to be distilled down to, I want to say it's like 80 to 90 proof. I don't remember. So the Blue Note, uncut, unfiltered, usually a single barrel or a store pick, is the, like I was saying, uncut, unfiltered.
Okay.
It's going to come in at barrel proof or cast strength. So uncut, unfiltered means they turn the barrel over, and whatever comes out is what you
comes
get.
out.
So you may see some little floaties in your bottle, and we're just going to call those the pop rocks of the whiskey world.
Okay.
That's goodness.
So I have a question for you.
No, when I
So
think
let's
of Pop
say-
Rocks, I think of something else. I'll tell you off air.
Let's say I'm a
Yes,
beginner
Jeremy, they will.
whiskey
Okay.
drinker.
Okay.
All right, but I really like the way that my whiskey looks in a decanter.
Okay.
All right, so I buy 4 or 5 decanters, and I have 4 or 5 bottles of whiskey. I throw them in there. All right, is it appropriate to label a decanter? Like, because what if I'm down the road, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot
which
what
one was
whiskey
this?
I put in it.
I mean, I don't see why not. Because just the same way, so a decanter typically is to hold a single bottle
Right.
of whiskey or wine, whatever it is.
Right.
And there's even been studies that a lot of people have said a bottle in a decanter will taste better than a bottle like this. Granted, you have to drink it a little faster.
Yeah.
Because it will oxidize.
Right.
You will start to lose some of the flavors. Will it go bad? No.
Right.
It will never go bad. But will you lose flavors? Yes. So is it a bad idea to label it if you're doing it in that way? Like, let's say you have 4 decanters and you want to put a bottle in each one. No. Label it. Do whatever you want. We have an infinity bottle for the show that is appropriately labeled the Functional Gentleman
Right.
infinity bottle because we put a little bit of each bottle in that one. So, and like you're doing currently, and like Ryan had said, when I have multiple bottles, I'm not going to get around to them ever in a long time. So for months, they will sit on a shelf. And what I will do is, like Roy was just demonstrating, I will go around every now and then and just go. And what it'll do is it'll wet the cork, allow it to hydrate, and your cork won't dry out. So that's something, especially as your collection grows, that's something you definitely, and it's the same as a humidor. Roy, you can vouch for this. Every 30 days, 45 days, you want to go in, open your humidor, let everything kind of just, and then close it.
Yep.
Right? So it's kind of the same idea.
So the reason I ask is
I do a standing 10 count.
I have a friend, and he loves decanters, and so he built him a little shelf, and he has all of his decanters on there, and he put like the LED neons under it, and it makes it look really pretty. He could not tell you what he's drinking on a day-to-day basis,
And
but he talked to me about it, and I was like, well, if I were you, what I would do is like the bottle that you put in there, I would put that bottle next to the decanter.
I'll do you one better
And
than
you
that.
could do that.
And it's really kind of inexpensive and it's kind of cool too. Ponytail holders.
Yeah.
They're colored.
Right.
Right.
Make you a cheat sheet. Hey, the blue ponytail
Right.
is this.
That's a good
so
idea,
on
yeah.
and so on and
You
so
could do
on.
that. I mean, whatever you need to do,
I just had to
especially
relate it
because.
to the fact that I have a daughter. So.
Well, right. No, and samesies. I could do the same thing.
Yep.
Or my wife has a ton for some reason hair clippies. Like I could put a little clippy around it.
Or scrunchies. I mean,
Scrunchy, whatever
floats your boat.
right. You could have a little cheat sheet. Purple is Blanton's, blue is Old Forester, whatever. Now, and like Ryan said, and
Leopard
that's
is
what I was
Sex
saying.
Panther. I mean, some difference.
Exactly. Just dab a little on your wrist and go into the bedroom, and your wife's going. But like Ryan said,
As long as she plays Careless Whisper.
and that's kind of, it expands on what I said. You know, if you're using a decanter, be careful because it won't go bad, but you're not going to get the same seal.
Right.
Which this one actually has a really good seal. That was kind of hard to get off, but you're not going to get the same seal from this
as you would from a cork.
as you
Right.
do from and you heard it earlier.
Yeah.
That you're getting that. That is
Right.
what's sealing your bottle. And what you don't want, although some oxygen interacting with your bourbon or whiskey is a good thing, you don't want that excessively over amount of time. So within a
That's a good idea.
year or two, this may start to change a little bit. Hang tags from Hobby Lobby.
That's a good one.
Because if you buy a label maker and you start sticking labels on this,
Right.
and you try to peel one off, you got sticky residue.
Right.
Yep.
Or over time, let's say you have 5 or 6 already piled up on top of each other,
Yeah.
it starts looking funky.
Right.
The whole point of this is because it looks good.
Yeah. It's pretty. Yeah.
So yeah, so like Ryan said, just be careful. They don't seal perfectly. So if you're going to put it in a decanter, have every intention of drinking it within 6 months.
Okay.
At least, yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Cool.
but that
Yeah,
would be
and
my tip going into the decanter thing.
See, I can go back to work now and tell this guy all of this information.
There you go.
I like it.
But let's see. I got anything else? So, Ryan made a really good point. He watched our show from last week a little later, and he was making some really good comments. And he had said something along the lines of, because I had said find a whiskey notebook and make some notes, find what you like, enjoy what you like, buy those things. He said, but don't be afraid to step outside of what you like. Your palate will evolve over time.
Right, yeah. No,
And
he's
I
right.
thought that was a really good point, because even I wrote, when you find something you like, don't be ashamed of whatever it is, whether that's Wild Turkey 101 or Jim Beam Devil's Cut. Just because it's something that some people are going to talk shit about.
Or Midnight Moon Oak Cast.
Midnight Moon, the Western Sun. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you. I would crack the Western Sun open right now and pour me a pour of it.
Right.
Don't be afraid of something you like. Yes, let your palate expand. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. But just because you enjoy it doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Right.
Just because I talk shit about Jim Beam Double Oak. I hate it. I think it tastes like black licorice.
I'm not a
it's
fan
the
of
worst
the-
thing I've
yeah.
ever had in my life. I've seen plenty of reviews that enjoy the shit out of it.
They do. 101 is life. That is, yes, the rest is just details, man. I
Yeah,
get it.
Exactly.
101 is life.
If
the
you
rest
don't
is just
like
details.
if you don't like Wild Turkey 101, we need to have a conversation.
That's what I started with way back.
But I mean,
That
there's going to be people
for
that
some
get
reason
into
Bacardi
this.
151, which I don't even think they make anymore.
Please don't do that. Wild Turkey 101 is probably one of the first higher proof whiskeys, bourbons that I recommend.
Yep.
It's great.
That's why Hayes wrote that line in that song. You ever heard it? Roy's heard it. I'm wild as a turkey on a Christmas moon.
That's
empty
it.
as my wallet on a Sunday afternoon.
Can I get a little? God, can I get a little pour of the cast strength? Because like I said, I actually hadn't had a chance to try this, even though
It's not bad.
So-
I think you'll enjoy it.
since I'm getting a little pour of this, to reference back what Ryan was asking earlier, Maker's Mark does a lot of finishing series, and what you're going to find whenever you walk into a store most of the time.
I hear really good things about their. Is it French oak?
Yeah, the number 46. Yeah. They do a straight French oak finish, which is pretty good. But whenever you look at the shelf and you see Maker's, the regular old fashioned Maker's Mark whiskey, you see this one Maker's Mark Cask Strength. You normally see Maker's number 46.
Yep.
But what you're going to find is there's a bottle with a different label on it, and it's going to say something like Bill's Pick, Longhorn, Southeast Texas Whiskey Festival Selection. And then underneath it, you're going to see different staves. It's going to be French oak. It's going to be whatever. I don't remember what they are, but there's like 5 or 6 different staves. And it's going to say 2 of these, 1 of these, 1 of these, 0, 0, 0.
Yep.
So what they do is they finish it. They put the staves in there, and they finish it with different staves. So it might be like Christmas time sugar and spice, and it's because of the staves that they chose, and the combination of those staves gave it a very nice sugar and spice finish. So that was weird.
I was
sorry. No, you're good.
Something.
So, but that's part of the finishing series is they allow different stores or people or whoever to come in and throw whatever they want, and if you get, let's call it Christmas time Yuletide, and that's because it reminds me a lot of those Christmas spices, nutmeg, maybe a fruit cake, whatever. So I'm going to call it Christmas Yuletide.
Right.
And that's because the way I finished it.
Okay.
So that's something that's really cool. They also do yearly, like this year it was a BRTO 1 and a BRTO 2. Mm-hmm. So they had a different, and they say you should really try them together. It's a wood finishing series, but it's a special release.
Okay.
So there's different levels, let's say, of like a Maker's Mark, or even as you go into other brands, you're going to find like an entry level. You're going to find like a cast strength. You're going to find maybe a finished, and that's a fun part of what we're doing is, even though you may not like one, give the other one a chance.
Right.
And go from there.
Okay. Cool.
Interesting.
I like that. That was a very good explanation.
Ooh, that's really good. I like that. See, I've mentioned it. I'm not a huge fan of their original. That one I'm going to continue.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that
one's really good.
That one's a good one. I'm not gonna lie. That one to me is the better of the, quote unquote,
cherry bomb. Kind of like you said, there's like this weediness, like a breadiness.
It's almost like. So, and I'm gonna sound really stupid doing this, but guess what? My show, I don't give a shit.
Yep.
Farmhouse. There's a company that makes farmhouse bread, and they make a honey wheat. Yeah. This almost smells like that.
Yeah, like a honey wheat.
Yeah.
Bread. Yeah, I like that description. That's really good.
I think it's Petridge Farm actually is who makes.
It's softer. It's got a lingering finish because it is cast strength. I don't remember what this comes in at.
109.7.
109, so almost 110
and it's
proof.
Batch number 22-01.
Great finish. Really, really good. And yeah, Jeremy, you're right. The original has it does. It tastes it. I don't like it, and I don't want to talk bad.
I don't like the way it finishes.
As a Maker's Mark ambassador, don't want to talk bad about it. But I have 100, and I'll say it. I've 100% steered people away from the original.
Yeah, don't do the original.
I'm not afraid to say that. It's not. You're right, Jeremy.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's really not.
It's not there, and this one, it's soft, but it's cherry. It's the weediness. There's the oakiness. There's complexity there, and there's a good finish there that lingers just enough. That makes you say, okay, they are doing good things at Maker's Mark.
No, they are.
And their wood finishing series that they special release is always really good. I've heard. I haven't had a chance to try it, but I've heard the BRTO 1 is better than the O2. I think is that the right way?
But now you just sound like a tater.
I'm not afraid to admit it. I do what I do when I do what I do, Chad.
The
All right, Chad, BMW leather.
BRTO tastes like Mercedes-Benz leather, where BRT2 tastes like
And of course
BMW.
they got that A675-309.
Right. But you got to be sure to fill out your ID.
BR549.
Fill out your ID 10T form.
And don't forget your 281-330-8004, by the way. Neither.
That's right.
Because if you know what an ID 10T
The fact
form
that you're
is,
that
it
old and
spells
you still
idiot.
remember that whole.
The fuck?
But if you have any complaints, call 281-330-8500 or 8330.
Yeah.
What? Damn it.
He
Why did I
just
screw
said
that
the
up?
number.
281-330-8004. Damn it.
You go learn him something.
No, you can't learn me nothing about who.
Yes, I can.
No, you cannot.
He's at the Mike Jones batch.
Show of hands, how many people in this room have been to the Swisher House?
I have not. But a show of hands, how many people have the Ballin' Underground CD right here? Thank you. It is literally like a 60-minute freestyle of Mike Jones.
Yes, it is. That's actually the one where Paul Wall got his first introduction at, too, by the way.
Great.
Huh.
Great. God dang.
Your boy.
Look at I thought you were as old.
Don't even. I know. Yep, I'm not going there neither. Damn young Thundercats.
That's rude. That's rude.
No, it's not. It's all good. It's all in good fun.
All right.
But that's Whiskey 102. I know we ran through last week's. We ran through this week's.
Yep.
If you've got any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to answer all of your questions. If you want recommendations,
Get the cell phone number on the Facebook page, by the way. There's a cell phone number attached to it.
there's now a cell phone number attached to it. We need to probably have a little bit of a conversation about that one. But there's an address.
Why, Ike? Whatever do you mean?
There's an address. You can send us stuff. We can mail you stuff.
Yes.
We want to try it all. We want to do it all. We want to be a part of it all.
I'm just waiting on stuff to roll in because I've had a bunch of conversations with a bunch of different people saying, "Hey, it's coming. It just ain't showing up yet."
It's not even about. It's about all of it.
I get it. It is about all of it.
We're not afraid to share what our address, what we're doing, how we are.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to share all of the same things. If you see something on our table 1 week, this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, and you're thinking to yourself, I really want to try that, and I hear what they're saying, and it sounds like something I would enjoy, reach out to me. Reach out to us.
Yep.
I've got tons of sample bottles at my house.
Yep.
I will pour you a sample and send it to you.
25 of them to be exact.
At least. If not more, because I think it came in like a 36 bucks. I've already given Dana walked in the other day. How many of these have you given out? Oh, God, I don't know.
I don't know.
I just pour stuff and hand them out.
I just
Here,
pour and
take
give.
Take it.
Take it.
And that's the thing. If you want to try something we've had on the show, ask. We're not afraid to give it to you. So, that's...
Yes, for sure. I definitely want to. Yeah. We
yes,
need to,
Jeremy. Yes, we do.
We'll message you after the show, for sure.
I'm serious. So I posted the other day on Facebook, February. I want to try different blends. So I've done Whiskey Advent Calendar. I've done National Bourbon Heritage Month. I've done all of these things. Well, something I haven't ventured into is blends such as Poor Man's Pappy. God dang, why was that so hard for me to get out? So something like Poor Man's Pappy is like 60% Antique 107, 40% Weller 12, I think is what is what it is. It's something along those lines. So that's a very well-known blend. I want to find out what everybody's favorite blend is, and one of the things that I was told was it was two different Widow Jane store picks. One was like 10 years old, one was 12 years old. And I was like, well, damn it, I'll send you $25 for that pour. I'm never going to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
But that's something I want to do for February. Is I want to try these different things, and let's go crazy with it. Send me 2 completely different whiskeys.
It's a waste of an antique, by the way.
That's fine, but just send me 2 different things. Send me pour 2 ounces Still Austin and an ounce of Bobby Joe whiskey.
Hey, we should do a whole Texas blend.
I
like that idea.
So something I thought about doing was like a Texarado.
The fuck?
So Colorado whiskey is doing a lot of great things.
Okay.
Texas whiskey
I know
is
some
doing
guys in Colorado.
Texas whiskey is doing a lot of great things.
Okay.
What if I could come up with a Texarado whiskey blend?
Texarado.
Because Texas is all about the humidity, the heat, we age way faster than everybody else. Colorado, it's snowy, it's different, it's high altitude, it's different. What if we could come up with like a Texarado blend?
I like it.
But
A Texarado.
a big part of what I want my February to be is just send it to me. I don't care what it is.
Send it.
2 parts this, 2 parts that. I got a Willet and a
Whitmer's apparently has a good bourbon and rye blend.
Whitmeyer's. Yeah, they do. And it's stuff like that. Like, let's try some different shit. And what stemmed that was we've mentioned him several times on the show. So that one dude, Ryan, is a Giants fan, a New York Giants fan. Bourbon of the Week, who's another Instagram account we follow, I follow. He's on TikTok. He's a New York, Philadelphia Eagles fan. That one dude, Ryan, had a bottle of Weller Full Proof, which is a blue bottle for the Giants.
Why?
Bourbon of the Week had an Eagle Rare, Philadelphia Eagles. So I did a collaboration. Why can't we be friends? And I poured them both 50-50. It tasted good. I'm not going to lie to you. It was actually good. So why? Let's do more. Where's that? Like, why can't that be a thing? Give me some collaborations, some blends, exactly. You've got an ounce and an ounce of, I don't remember what's in either one of those.
Blanton's and Cash Strength.
Okay, so Blanton's and Maker's Mark. There you go. See?
Not bad.
Okay. But you know what I mean? Like, expand that. Like, I don't care if it's something you found online or it's something that somebody else said or it's something you've done before. Send me something. 2 parts Maker's Mark, 1 part Pursuit. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Send it to me. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I think I've got like 6 or 7 already listed out that I'm going to start with. But send me some and let's do that.
Hand me the McKenna.
Okay. I'm going to step out.
A little bit of McKenna.
Brixton Mass is a blend of rum and bourbon. See?
I like it. What am I doing? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Just grabbing shit. But anyway, so have you learned anything tonight?
A lot.
Being as you're like the only student in the class,
Yeah.
everybody else decided to skip.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Have you? Yep. That's good. I'm glad it's all educational.
Is that like 3 mixes?
It is.
Oh. So that was Pursuit United, McKenna, and
Legion. Yep.
Pursuit United, Legion,
McKenna.
Okay. But, and to kind of expand on what Ryan was saying, y'all would love to go into Bourbon 30. Yes, I loved hearing about Ryan's experience there, getting to try different barrels, getting to try all of these different things, and then blending it and doing your own, and you get to name it and all this other stuff, and they bottle it for you, blah, blah, blah. That's awesome.
Here, try this.
That's what, so that combined with the poor man's Pappy, combined with that, seeing those two guys who are big TikTok and Instagram social media content creators, why can't that be a thing? Like, what if we created a blend that was just holy shit? Like, you gotta have this one.
Yeah.
Let me see that one more time. Okay, so tell me what it is.
McKenna, 1 part McKenna, 1 part Pursuit, 1 part Legion.
Okay, so I get Pursuit on the nose, McKenna on the palate, dryness of Legion on the finish.
Overall,
That's fun. I love it. I mean, I love it is maybe an instant reaction, but that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can, like, immediately I could tell you, even if I had not known, I could tell you there's Henry McKenna in that pour.
I feel this one's a little better, actually.
And that was the Makers.
This was Blanton's and Makers.
So essentially, you created a 4-grain bourbon there because it's wheat, rye,
But try
barley,
this
corn.
one, though.
So what would be the price point on what you're sipping right now?
So let's see. If you broke it down, we'll say an ounce, an ounce, and an ounce. McKenna bottled and bond normally runs.
I think I spent 60,
Okay, so
70
60
on it.
So we'll say 60 on the low end.
That one was
40
nice.
here.
Yeah.
And then Pursuit United, you're roughly what, 40 again?
50.
50?
Let's say 50.
So 150.
Yeah.
So you divide that by 30, you're looking at $50.
Right. Exactly. I'm in the price point of basically every blended whiskey out there.
Yeah.
But I think you and I are kind of trekking the same thing. I like as much as I hate to say it, I like the Blantons and the Makers.
I like the separation.
Yes, McKenna used to be $30, yes.
Yeah. Not no more. Don't. If you find it for $30, let me know. But I like the complexity
I see where you're getting, yeah. I like the complexity of
of
this.
the three bottles because there is a nose palate finish difference.
Yes.
It finds itself there.
Okay.
The Makers
Blanton's.
Blantons finds itself in a
The Blanton Maker.
right. It's a. I mean,
You're like, motherfucker.
I don't know what it's the bourbon maker.
Yeah.
It's a bourbon maker.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a softness, it's a harshness, it's a bourbon flavors.
Yes, the proof of the cask does. I agree with him on that.
100%.
The proof of the cask does help
helps.
the Blantons.
It helps a ton.
Yeah.
But you add in the softness that you get from weeded whiskey with the harshness that you get from mash bill number 1 that's in the Blantons.
Yeah.
And you're getting into that 4-grain Pappy Van Winkle range, which is what people love about that.
Yes.
It is the complexity, the softness, the harshness, the finish, it's the buildup of all of it.
But I do like the complexity more of.
I like the 3 bottles versus the 2 bottles
Right.
because of what I can find in each and every one of them. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect
So
sense.
that's where I want my February to go. Everybody that's tuning in, everybody that watches this after the fact, send me.
I'm not familiar with the Rock Hill Farm, so I mean that's.
I would no. Oh gosh, if you have some Rock Hill Farms, there's again the address is on our Facebook. Send us a little sample. I'm trying to get them to join in. I've watched their live on TikTok. I've talked to them.
Do we follow them on Facebook?
I don't remember.
Hang on a second, I got you.
Rock Hill Farms is out of Arkansas.
Okay.
From what I've seen, from what I've watched, they're doing great things. I would love to find that here in Southeast Texas. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. God, you're awesome. Yeah, because I've heard great things about it. I've reached out to them. I want to do some things with them. They're in our region. It's southeast United States. We're all southern. We all say y'all. I love what they're doing. I love what I've seen. But it's stuff like that. Like, just send me random 2 parts this, 1 part that, 1 part this, 1 part that.
Yeah, I can't find it apparently.
I've got it. Trust me. If we're not, we're going to be.
Okay.
But that's kind of what I want to lean into February with, is the blend idea, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't afford a Pappy Van Winkle unless I find it for MSRP somewhere.
Yes.
But I've heard Poor Man's Pappy is great, and I've heard the other version of it, which is a 4-grain whiskey, and I've got a blend for it, and I'm gonna explain it whenever I start this series. I'm gonna kind of go into that, but I want to kind of do these different things. Let's dive into it, because I can spend $30 on 2 different bottles of whiskey, combine them, and you're like, hey, I know you don't have that bottle, but I promise you it tastes like Willet Family Reserve 13 year or whatever it is. And that's what reminded me of it.
Okay, I was
but that's what I'm saying.
I looked, I was like, damn, is that what
it reminds me of Pappy Van Winkle 23 year. It reminds me of Willet Family Reserve this, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Let's figure out some blends, because it's fun to expand on what you already have.
Yeah.
So let's say I've got 15 bottles of $25 to $30 whiskey. What happens whenever I combine?
I feel this Makers, I'm going to go out on a limb. I feel this Makers would be good with the Western Suns.
I feel like that Makers is going to be good with a lot.
Yeah. I like the cash strength.
It's got a softness to it. It's got a good strength to it.
But I like the fact that it's got the strength and the softness, like you said, but when you pair it with the Western Sun, that's sweet tea, stuff like that, I would love to see where that goes. That's one we may have to try.
I feel like, so a lot of people say, like, Pursuit United, they start with a base whiskey. So, like, let's say that's 60% of their whiskey blend.
Okay.
They start with that, and then they add small amounts of whatever, the other 2.
Okay.
So, I feel like, in a sense, Maker's Mark cask strength would almost be a good base for just about anything else.
I could see that.
You add in the higher rye, or you add in this, or you, because that wheat and that cask strength is going to push things in a different level.
I wonder how this Makers and Larceny would pair.
I feel like you'd be treading a lot in the same area.
True, but I mean, think about it. Everybody does a double oak. Does anybody do a double wheat?
So I have a Larceny barrel proof batch A122. Maybe.
Nerd alert! Sorry, I couldn't resist when you started batch.
Hashtag Nader Nation.
Nader Nation?
Nader Nation.
Shit.
You fed me too many whiskeys.
Don't blame me.
I blame you for everything.
Grown ass man.
Nope. Every time I go home, I'm like, Roy did it.
That's why I'm having a shirt done that says locally hated.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's figure it out.
Okay.
Let's all figure it out together.
Okay, we can do that.
That's what I want our February to be.
I like it.
What are you reading, buddy?
The comments.
Oh, okay.
I was just glancing to make sure there wasn't nothing we missed.
So we're slowly approaching the 2-hour mark.
Yep.
Ready to do it?
Oh! EDC corner.
What? You got one?
I do have one. I almost kept myself with it. I do have one.
You were so close.
I was so close.
Sound effects. Yes.
Yes.
Don't breathe.
True Utilities mini blade.
So small.
I know. It's very small.
That's what I tell my wife. It's
very.
not about the size.
No, it's not about the size. It's how you work the tool.
That's right.
440 stainless. Literally probably like 1.5 inch blade. Perfect for opening boxes. I've carried it now for about a month.
Really?
Yes. Best part, $9.99. That's the best part.
That's a beautiful price.
That is a beautiful price point. And it also doubles as a money clip.
Speaking of EDC, John, thank you for your Stanley multi-tool
Oh, yeah.
that you have recently said you started carrying in your pocket because it allowed Roy
Oh, yeah, I
to
had to
make
adjust
adjustments to his lighter
Yeah, I had to
/ punch
adjust.
cutter.
It's a brand new
So-
lighter. I had to make it just, yeah, fantastic.
Just
Thank you, Ryan. It
silly
is
little
I like
things.
it. It's a cute little knife.
it's a cute little knife.
Cute little toy. I like it, though.
Stab something 3 times real fast and it's 9 inches.
Not just that, 2 inches is hell at 100 miles an hour. Write that down. 2 inches is hell at 100 miles an hour.
John,
Hit the button.
let's go forever, huh?
Tonight's last call is from a gentleman by the name of Thomas Waits. I don't have a drinking problem, except when I can't get a drink.
I would agree with that.
I just love the fact that you just quoted Tom Waits.
I figured you would appreciate that one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
As always, we've been the Functional Gentlemen.
Yep.
You've been great. You've been great.
Yep.
Friends of the show, you've been great.
Yep.
Check out the Facebook. We do have a phone number and an address now.
Yep.
If you want to reach out, if you want to send us something, if you want us to send us something, there's lots of things. Words are hard. We're awesome. You're awesome. Everybody's awesome.
Check the merch.
Check the merch. FunctionYourWay.live. Hashtag Function Your Way. Hashtag for the fans. Hashtag 2023 Year of the Gentleman.
Hashtag check liver light.
Hashtag Tater Nation.
Hashtag Tater Nation. Don't piss me off. John, hit the button in the show. Let's do this. Good night.
My tongue, get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you.